Wing has been partially demolished. I know that this happened yesterday. I think we actually have video of this. Hold on, here it comes. Yeah, so they tore down the facade on the East Wing. Now, the East Wing is where the First Lady has her offices. So, Melania, who I'm sure is there every day,
Michael Dean, stop. I want you to give me a number on how many times Melania has stepped into that office. Above or below 5?
I think 5 is generous. You know what? She does have to plan the Christmas decorations. There's the Easter egg thing. So, maybe she's in the week or two before big events. And then, not so much.
Let me ask you this. Has Melania gotten the best deal that any First Lady has ever gotten? Because when their husband is embroiled in scandal, they have to be standing right next to them. They have to do those terrible campaigns where, some of them probably are passionate, but every First Lady has to have my thing is to get American kids to be able to run 3 laps at gym. It's called the Jog It or Lose It program. They all have to do. Melania gets to Melania is our first work from home First Lady. Well, you never see her. She zooms in for meetings. It's like I doubt that she even knows that her office is no longer there. And I mean, hey, it's a good deal if you can get it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think she checked that email. So this is kind of interesting. This is, of course, getting ready for the construction of this 90,000 square foot, Trump ballroom that, is funded by all of these corporations that, donated $5 million and, is each or above and beyond that. Google, Meta, lots of money. And, for that, I'm sure they're not going to get any sort of special treatment or special favors from this White House.
Absolutely not.
And it turns out that Trump's plan, was for this ballroom to have like a 650 person capacity. It's now increased, Al. It's going to allow 999 people into that room. I don't know why they couldn't say 1,000, but it's just below that, and it's going to have bulletproof glass everywhere. And Trump joins a long list of presidents who have made changes to the White House. I believe the last big one was when Obama took out or changed the tennis court and made it a basketball court. Not really that large of a change, but it's been a long time since portions have been torn down. Usually it's
a portion, yes, the East portion, it does count. I mean, if somebody said the East Coast of the United States was destroyed by a tidal wave, that would be a portion of the country. Some would say a very large portion of the country. Like I would say, it's a very large part of the White House. I do like that we're treating the White House like an old defunct mall from the 80s that no longer exists. We're just like, is this going to be a thing where just like presidents are just going to, remodel the White House? Like this is an episode of HGTV. Like, the East Wing was, a lot of walls. We wanted to go with an open concept. We put a hood over the stove. We look at this island. It's right in the middle. It invites conversation. It is. And I think we said this yesterday after the show, that the idea of what presidents can and can't do is over.
Yeah.
This president has done every single thing that he has wanted to do, and it gets done immediately. Biden wanted to do an infrastructure bill that really never took off. And when it did, only parts of it made it through. Some parts, the biggest parts, were negotiated against. If it was allowed to pass, the Republicans were allowed to get something. Like Trump just goes, I don't like this part of the building. Gone. I don't like this. The pictures hanging in the White House. Well, we'll put a picture of an auto pen there. I don't know about abortion. Gone. Voting Rights Act. It looks like it's going to be gone very shortly. And maybe it's a deeper conversation, Michael Dean, but I don't believe that this man that couldn't get anything done his first term and now all of a sudden is getting everything done his second term isn't being aided by everybody around him, including the Zuckerbergs, including all of the people that are funding this. That White House and the ballroom donation is, I think, equivalent to when a congressperson or a senator or, is given $500,000 to give a speech at, the Rail Workers Association. There's nothing that anybody's saying that's $500,000 worth of important to that company. What that $500,000 fee for speaking is, hey, remember us when we need some legislation passed or not passed. And I think we don't really put it together, but sometimes a bill will come up, Michael Dean, and you're like, well, who would vote against that? Maybe I would say check the last 5 stops on their speaking tour, and you'll probably understand why they did or didn't vote for something. And I think that's what we're looking at with the ballroom. The fact that it was noted let's be honest, the Qataris giving Trump a plane. And then I don't even think we reported on this because it came over a long weekend. Now all of a sudden, doesn't Qatar have its own landing strip in the United States?
Yeah, no, they are opening a Air Force training session at a U.S. Air Force base in Idaho. So we are going to be training Qatari pilots, and yes, they will be flying their planes and they will be landing, and it will be, all here on American soil. And you're absolutely right. I'm sure it was arranged in some sort of deal, because this is the deal president, right? The art of the deal.
Right. But the deals only help him. And again, it's a tired thing to say, but could you imagine if Barack Obama, who was called a Muslim, which is not a slur in my opinion, that's I believe it's probably the world's biggest religion, and in this country it was used as something to denigrate, but they accused him of being a Muslim. Can you imagine if one of Barack Obama's presidential statutes was that we're going to give Qatari its own personal airfield on the United States, much less in Idaho, probably our most conservative state by far, actually. It just blows my mind what certain people are allowed to get away with.
Or how about this $20 billion bailout of Argentina? We don't have money for healthcare, but we're happy to give Argentina $20 billion, not because it's going to do anything good for the U.S., but because, some of Trump's business friends have, money tied up there. And so we want to prop up the peso in order to help them and their, investments.
And if I'm probably going to need you to look this up because I don't want to speak out of school, but don't Argentinians have free healthcare?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because how does the left, how does just mainstream media not let the American people know it's not a slander against the president? It's just a fact. Good news, guys. You should be really happy about this. Your healthcare premiums are about to skyrocket. They're saying that they're going to go up by 50 to 75% for a lot of Americans on the Affordable Care Act. So that just means you won't have health insurance. And if you don't have health insurance, it's going to obviously affect especially rural hospitals. You won't have health care anymore. But good news, Argentinians are able to go to the doctor and get their checkups. Yeah. And the American people will be like, well, how does that help us? And they'd be like, hey, what am I, your effing dad? I'm not here to answer all your questions. I'm just telling you what is. I cannot believe this is allowed to ride, but it is. Michael,